On the 21st of October, I think that morning we were traveling to Mombasa to attend a meeting, yes, a governor's meeting, and as we were preparing to leave for Mombasa is when I felt like I could feel some signs of a cold. And I asked my people, well, normally, why don't you buy me some cold cups or flu gun? And I took them and went to Mombasa. But in Mombasa, I think I felt a little bit uncomfortable. We did finish with the meeting and we did come back. But on coming back, I was kind of bedridden for about 3 or 4 days, just feeling the lethargy. I talked to my doctor who prescribed some drugs, and I continued resting in the home, in the house over 3-4 days. And then I had to go back to Mombasa for the UHC conference. But I'm still ignorant of the fact that I could be sick. I am assuming it's a cold. So, and I would want to ask everybody, once you feel those signs, I think the best thing would be to take a test. Because we flew to Mombasa. I was supposed to do a presentation. I found I couldn't because I didn't even have the energy. So we went straight to Aga Khan Hospital in Mombasa, where they identified that I was dehydrated, and they did do some chest x-rays, and they said they could see some sign of pneumonia. And so we did agree that since I was in Mombasa and my doctor was in Nyeri, we would coordinate the two. So we did coordinate the doctors in Aga Khan and the doctors here, and we did agree that day they were able to do some interventions, give me some intravenous drips. They were also able to inject me with some drugs, and I think I was able to pull through the day. But the very next day at 11, we took the flight back to Nyeri, where I came. I was tested and immediately put on some form of treatment. The doctors immediately decided, because they could work on the X-ray that was taken in Mombasa that showed there was some pneumonia and some kind of blockages, so they decided to treat it as COVID even before they had the results. And so they put me on 3 drugs. I do remember athromycin. They also gave me dexamethasone and I think sodium chloride, and they started intravenous. And of course, because I had an issue with breathing, they also put me on oxygen for 2 days, 3 days, and I was able to pull through. And I continued on the drugs. I have been tested twice. I will still take another test on Wednesday next week, just to keep on ensuring that we remain negative. But my call is that let us stop assuming, because I thank God that over that period of time, the 18 days that I have been in hospital, I've been treated, I've been at home, I've been running up and down. I think it's only because of God's mercy that we are still living, because we mismanaged. I don't think we really managed this process very well, because we did assume that it was just a cold, like normal. But really, I think we need to take the signs seriously. Every time you feel a cold or something like a cold, let's do the testing. Let's get the testing done. It's uncomfortable, but it will give us the good results and we will be able to pull through. The only challenge now we have is that I think they are, number one, I keep getting very thirsty, so I have to keep drinking a lot of water. Number two, I sweat a lot. Occasionally at night, I find myself sweating. And number three, maybe especially the areas where they had to inject, there is still some pain. But essentially I'm well, and I want to thank God that all we can say is that people can recover from COVID. It is not a death sentence. We want to urge our people, let's not dilly-dally like we did. I think immediately you have that sign or you feel those signs, please take a test. The tests are available. Please do take the test and get medical attention, because those of us, those that I know whom we have lost, we might have lost because they got to hospital too late. So the minute you feel you are uncomfortable, number one, we felt like it was a cold coming. By the second day, we had lost taste. The third day, there was no appetite. We felt so tired, we couldn't even breathe. These are the signs, and I think the best thing is immediately, even before the minute you have those signs, please do take a test. And I want to thank doctors, because even in the midst of all this quagmire, they are still trying. Even not knowing what to give you, they are still trying. And those three drugs have proven to have helped us cross over. So mine is to thank them and to wish everybody well, and to ask the people of Nyeri to continue wearing masks, keep safe distance. Brothers and sisters, this disease is not a respecter of personalities. It will hit you, whoever you are. Just take care of yourself. And there is no issue about, this familiarity, even getting into your home and assuming that everybody in the house is safe. I don't think that is correct. Let us take personal responsibility. Even for those that we are living with, let them wear a mask. I remember we had an issue in my house when I was telling everybody, please wear a mask. And they are saying we are in the house. I'm telling them, no, I am sick. You wear a mask. And I thank God that all of them have been wearing the mask, and we would want to continue. I will say this, remember, as a public figure, I knew it was going to create a number of issues in Nyeri. There were already speculations that I wasn't feeling well. And so I had a kind of a program where I just woke up in the morning, had breakfast, remember, then I would get back to either read newspapers. So I would occasionally ask somebody to take photos of me, and I would post them just to show that despite not me telling you that I'm sick, I am really doing well. But the challenge was that the first 3 days I had to be in bed. I had to be in bed, and yes, I was there. I was getting nursed, and the only reason I chose to stay at home was just to avoid the traffic that would have been there in the hospital. Considering, I also learned that our hospitals were also overwhelmed with the patients with COVID-19. Because at that particular time that I was getting sick, remember, we also had the MD. We had Engineer Mbogori, we had a number of, prominent people also getting treated at Outspan, and even within our hospital. So it wasn't easy, but somehow you fall into line, and we those days have been, if I may say, the first days were quite intense. And the doctors were there with us, checking occasionally, every other minute, doing the tests and knowing how we were going. And I thank them for that. There has been quite some uptick of cold and flu medicine within our pharmacies. And what we have asked is that every person who purchases drugs for colds and flus is recorded, so that we are able to follow up, because we have noted somehow that majority of our people are just walking into chemists and buying those drugs, and then maybe doing self-quarantine and treating themselves at home, which could be dangerous, because We don't know when there'll be a full-blown. So we are monitoring that, as we have asked the Department of Health to monitor. In all the pharmacists in Nyeri, in Karatina, in our major towns, every person who buys drugs, we want to keep the record so that we are able to know. We will not win this battle by brick and mortar. We have to equip our health workers. We must give them the PPEs. They must have the courage to approach you as a patient. And the only way they can do that is when they are protected. Once they are protected, then they will be able to deal with you.